My name is Amy. Thank you very much for watching, and let's make some bad coding decisions together. This is for entertainment purposes only, so if you're entertained, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate this. And this is Cutie Pie. Anyways, I just wanted to explain what happened with the 500 error because I recorded a video earlier today. It was an hour long, and it didn't need to be because in the end, the problem was exactly what I thought it was without even saying any, like, I never actually explained what the problem was before we went to go fix it, so, like, what's even the point? Anyways, so we were getting a 500 error ultimately because the npm version was not correct when I did npm install, so, or the node version was not correct. And so 3 things happen. One, whenever you get errors that are like, this node package is incompatible, that node package is incompatible, don't install all these random packages. It's not that problem. The problem is your node version is wrong. So you just need to, delete your node modules and your package lock.json, get into the correct node version, and you'll be fine. So the second problem is I did not realize that the cursor, when you run your commands through there, that it's not actually the same environment as your local environment. It's more like, it's probably emulated, so it's more like a Docker instance. If you Docker exec into it, it's not going to have all the niceties that your local environment has, and it doesn't necessarily have the same tooling installed, and so it just didn't have the same node version, so it messed up in the first place. So that's just something to keep in mind. And one thing I did, this whole thing fixed, was I added a script to my bash profile that when you change directory, it looks for an nvrc file, and it'll switch to that node version. So hopefully that's helpful in the future. So for cursor prompts when you're doing npm install, if you want to do that, because I do like running that in cursor so that it has the context when I'm having an issue. Just say, like, using this node version, run npm install, and that way it does all the different steps. So how did I fix it? Basically, I restarted cursor, I deleted the node modules, made sure that I was on the right version of node, and I npm installed and ran npm dev, and it worked. So yes, that did take an hour. For some reason, when you run it through the emulated cursor terminal, it kind of froze npm install, so like a lot of that time was just waiting for things to install. So that is what was going on with that. So yeah, anyways, let's go over what actually changed so far. We have not confirmed whether this actually works with auth0 or not, but here we are. So we have the .env, this is the env-sample. The .env itself cannot be in here because it has secrets and stuff. So we have the auth0 domain, the client secret, the ID, the issuer base, the base URL, redirect URL, and the session secret. And then we've added the env and the nvorc to the get ignore. And then nobody really cares about the README. And then, but it is a very long file. Let's just, can we mark it as read? No, we can't, but we can collapse it. And then it changed the app view. Well, we deleted the app view because we created, these are just directions that, I created a docs folder just to keep all of the readmes in the same location so that the root of the directory doesn't get messed up with it. Anyway, so then I moved the Knex documentation there instead of just being in the server. And I guess for whatever reason, we decided that we needed to install, oh yeah, so we needed to get the backend in. So, I think actually what's happening with this is that I didn't push up main, and so it thinks that this is different. Anyway, so this, yeah, we did this as a part of the setting up the database stuff. And in the package JSON, I think the OpenID connect with the Express was one of the more interesting things to get us prepared for the auth0. So then we did change the index just to have like welcome to YieldCalcy, whatever. This is placeholder stuff. Let it do whatever it wants. And so now we have a login page and a profile page. And it took so long to persuade Cursor not to include pictures in the users table. And so for some reason it created a database JavaScript file to set it up. And then in the API folder for the backend, we have the callback get ts, and this requires the auth middleware file that we created, and it defines the class, and if we don't have a header we throw an error, and if we do have a response then we try to parse it, and if you don't have permission then it throws an error. So then we have the login get. So this is the callback. So this is after we log in, and this is the login before we log in, and we have this to log out to make sure that our session ID ends. And so yeah, this sets up the backend, which we did in a different branch. I just didn't push this up to main yet, which I should do soon. And then we have the protected get and we have the public get. So basically, I think these were just like test endpoints, but we want to make sure that like if something's public and you don't have to be logged in, then you can get to it, and if it's protected, then you cannot get to it. And so this is just getting your profile information, and this is defining the database, and this is the migration that you use the Knex make to get the file name, and then we defined this by hand. And then we have the middleware, which basically we define the class, and then we need to change this so that it's not hard coding the routes, but in the routes folder, when we define it, oh, I need to ask Cursor, I guess, or Gemini, or both, how, because in Nuxt, we can, like, it has the magic that as long as it's in the pages folder, we don't have to define the route. But I think it would be more convenient to have that in a centralized location that isn't just protected routes, or like have this be something in the config that we have like a JSON of an array, and just put this somewhere else. Anyways, basically I'm saying like if we're on the login page or like the home screen, we should not have to be logged in to see the home screen, but there are things that are secret, so we'll see if that needs to get changed, but for now it works, or at least should work. And then we have the user model, and the index tx, and then and these are just config things for TypeScript, and that's also for TypeScript, and this is also for TypeScript, and that's that. So that's what we have done so far, and the next step is to confirm whether auth0 is working or not. So tune in next time.